Our next guest is a talented actress you know from films such as Mad Max Fury Road and Magic Mike, and shows like The Girlfriend Experience and The Terminal List. She stars in Daisy Jones and the Six, which begins streaming on Prime Video this Friday. Let's take a look.
What can I do for you?
I don't know.
What do you want?
I want to make a record,
Okay.
and I want people to listen to it over and over again until it breaks. And then I want to make another one.
Well, you got one great song. All we need now is 10 more.
Give me a week.
Oh, and Daisy, this is now the worst song on your album.
Please welcome back to the show, Riley Keough, everybody.
Grabbed your hand. I didn't know if you were offering or introducing me.
I was like, this is the couch. I did want you to. I wanted you to use it as you saw fit.
Thank you.
Yes, I think it went very smoothly. I mean, it's a little awkward how much we're talking about it now.
I know. Let's stop. Okay.
Hey, so this is because this is a show about a band.
Yeah.
And also, there's an album that has come out.
Yes.
So it must be so different than any other show you're promoting, because it does also feel like you're promoting as a musician.
Totally. I mean, it is. It's the first time I've done anything musical, so that's been its own experience. But we had our album come out today.
That's so It's really wonderful too. It's so funny because obviously you come from a musical family, but the fact I'm surprised that you've never done anything musical.
Yeah, I mean, I played like a little bit of piano when I was a kid, and played around with it, but I just never was interested in.
That's so
in
funny.
Singing. I know. I love it now.
Did the casting process sort of have to take a leap of faith that you were going to eventually be able to figure it out?
Yes. I mean, I think that I oversold myself a little bit in the beginning of the process.
Okay, that's very nice. You're admitting it now.
It was something I just really wanted to prove to myself that I could do, I think, ultimately. And I think that they saw that in me, and they wanted to give me a chance.
But you did take it seriously, and I hope is it correct to say that you and your cast went to a band camp of sorts?
We did.
Okay.
We had band camp. We would start at like 9 in the morning. We would do, singing lessons and guitar lessons and piano lessons and like full band practice, and go over to the other side at Sound City Studios in LA and like record our album. So it was like a full school of rock experience.
Were other cast members maybe a little bit farther along in their education than you, or did you?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone in our band was a musician, other than Sam and myself, who are the two lead singers. So it was like it was like crazy. But what was amazing is the first time we ever rehearsed together. I was super nervous because we'd been practicing alone and getting our lessons by ourselves, and I was thinking, I'm the worst one here. And then I met Sam. And then we had our first singing lesson together, and there was this moment where we were looking at each other, and they kind of like wanted us to sing really close to each other's face and like build chemistry the first time we'd ever met each other. Mm-hmm. And we both realized like, oh, we're both like awful.
Yeah.
And from then on, I just felt like super grateful to have that we were both kind of starting from the bottom. Yeah.
When you meet, again, I think a lot of romance starts when you meet someone as awful as you are.
Yeah. Totally.
Now, then you finish, I guess there's this conclusion of band camp. At some point, you have to move on and start doing the show.
Yeah.
And I heard you had a concert of sorts for friends and family to...
We did. There was no friends or family. It was it was a lot of executives.
Okay, so the people...
I think
they're like, please call us friends or family.
I think they wanted it to feel like friends or family.
Gotcha.
We walked in the room and it was just like, a corporate...
How many people would you say were there in your audience for your concert?
I think I blacked out, but it might have been like... I feel like I've said that in every interview I did. People think I have like a drinking problem. I must have been like, I want to say it was like 50, 60.
Oh, that's a real audience.
It was like it was.
I mean, it does seem like at least one thing you have going for you is, again, because this is a cast where you also play a band.
I want to hear the one thing.
You have one thing over.
Okay.
No, but it just seems like you guys feel like a very close cast.
We
Like,
are.
I see photos of you guys doing press, and I don't know, maybe it's because you are playing people in a band together, but you actually look like you have a nice group chemistry.
We do, and I think that's, you know, been the most special thing about the show is that all of us are, you know, it's not often you get to do a series with 10 people your age.
Yeah.
You know, and all get along well, and I think that sort of translates into the show, and that's been, you know, authentic.
This is a show about a band and what a band goes through. You obviously have a career as an actor. Is there anything about band life that feels more alluring to you now that you wish?
100%.
Okay.
Like I realized in making this show and recording the album that like our actor's job is very like serious and stressful, and they're like very laid back and very easygoing. And like I remember going into the studio, and we're always like, you know, gotta be on time, gotta be punctual, and everyone's late, you know, and I go to it, and then, you know, it's to them, it's not very, you know, it's like 15 minutes, but to me, like coming from film, I'm like, oh my God, like it's a disaster,
right.
You know? And like we get in the studio, and I remember that like being like, okay, like what time's lunch? And they were like, I mean, whenever like you're hungry. And I was like, I was like, I need like structure. But then I like relaxed into it, and I was like, this is so much cooler.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't know why you ran from it when you were a kid.
I know.
Yeah, well, that's all right. It's very nice that you found your way back to it.
I
think.
did.
So I know you met your husband on set.
Yeah.
You guys were working on Mad Max together, and then he has a cameo in this show.
He sure does.
Now, this is a wonderful story, how this cameo came about.
Well, the cameo came about because I have to have intercourse with a random person on the show.
Yeah.
And the producers were like, it would be so funny if it was your husband.
That's so nice. And so he agrees.
Yeah.
And now, though, you're on set with your husband, you know, simulating intercourse. Was that more or less awkward?
It was more awkward.
Yeah,
it was more awkward because
I think it sounds good in the beginning, but as I think about it,
I think that they were thinking it would be less awkward, and then we got there, and they're like, this is really uncomfortable because,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't like, for one, I've never had pretend sex with my husband. So,
right. That's true.
Yeah, you know. And for two, you know, typically when you do these things and it's like somebody coming in for the day, you're like, hello, nice to meet you, and you kind of get down to business, and it's very professional. But with him, it was just like really like we were just giggling the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be so worried if I had to have pretend sex with my wife in front of a bunch of people.
It was so weird.
The amount she'd be like, he doesn't usually.
I know.
This isn't.
And that's what was.
He's putting a lot more attention.
But that's what happened because we were like in the scene, and this is a spoiler alert. In the scene, it's not like I'm not really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really kept feeling inclined to be like, in real life, it's not like this. And then I was like, I'll just, keep that to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good that you guys found together that when you have real sex, it should be with him, and pretend sex should be with strangers.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a very helpful message to all married couples
It
out
was,
there.
yeah.
You also directed a film, I guess last year now, War Pony, which you worked on for a great long time. I know.
Yeah.
This was a real process. Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
it was at the Cannes Film Festival. Did you enjoy directing? Is that something you think you'll do again?
I enjoy is an interesting word.
By the way, I like how honest this answer is, because I think enjoyment.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're my last interview of the week, and I'm just really letting it
You're
all
just
out.
gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like I did enjoy it. It's wild. It's like much more challenging than I think actors have this feeling that they can just like direct.
Yeah.
You know? And it's really hard.
It is. I mean, I think that you forget how exhausting decision-making is.
Yes.
Because, ultimately, I think every role on a film set is tiring in its own way.
Yeah.
But I think the amount of even just tiny decisions you have to make as a director, people always underestimate.
Totally. Decisions, and then just like the admin and the scheduling and just things that I'm like totally not interested in, that you have to do. But it was amazing, and we were able to make this very collaborative film experience that was, I'll remember it for the rest of my life. And it was really special.
Congratulations on that. Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
You're discovering your musical talent. Keel. Daisy Jones and the Six begins streaming on Prime Video this Friday. Be right back with more late